So one of the things I really appreciate about what Rodney and Greg said as employers goes back to something I mentioned earlier. They clearly understand that a job is more than just a source of income. It's a source of pride and purpose. They clearly understand that. They create an environment that acknowledges it and feeds the deeper longings to some degree of many of their workers. So that was a great panel. Right now, I'm going to do a little brief interview, much like I did earlier with Jack Harris from 3DE. Now I'm going to interview Luke Marklin. Luke is with Bellhops. But before I introduce Luke, I want you to turn your eyes to the screen and watch this story. Although I may not have given the crew enough of a cue. Here we go.
The story of an Alabama college student's work ethic is catching attention nationwide after walking 20 miles to his new job.
The CEO of Bellhops said thank you in a big way. Channel 3's Michelle Herron shows you how.
It's a gesture that brought tears to Walter Carr's eyes.
God blessed me with so much.
The Alabama college student's determination to make it to his first day of work captured hearts across the nation.
He had car trouble the night before and left at midnight to come move my family to a new home.
Carr walked 20 miles to his new job at Bellhops Moving Company in Birmingham because he knew people were counting on him. The company's CEO, Luke Marklin, impressed with the 20-year-old's dedication.
When we saw that, we were just truly blown away and thought this is everything that we are about.
Wanted to say thank you for going above and beyond. Surprised his new employee with his own car, a 2014 Ford Escape, all for going the extra mile.
I think there's decisions you make that just feel like the right thing. And when we were talking about our options, I just knew that the car I had was going to be in better use with him than with me.
Perhaps a reminder to never let obstacles stand in your way.
Be like Walter. Be a Walter. What would Walter do?
Well, what an incredible young man and great story there from Bellhops as well. That was Michelle Herron reporting. Bellhops headquarters is in Chattanooga, and the CEO said it's nice to know the company has employees who are willing to go that extra mile for customers. Well,
all right, meet Luke Marklin. All right, so that was a story that blew up for some of you. You know that story because it went national. Actually, I believe it went international. People heard about it from all over the world because of the tenacity of that young man and the generosity of the man sitting next to me, Luke Marklin, the CEO of Bellhops. Now, we've known Luke for a few years now because he participated in 2 of our Hiring Well, Doing Good events when he was a general manager for Uber over a 5-state region. So Luke is an old friend in this regard. But Luke, you've been at Bellhops now for?
A little over a year.
Yep. Now, so we want to hear your thoughts about workforce development and challenges and finding good employees and all that. But I also kind of want to go behind the scenes of what happened that day. And just tell us a little bit more about Walter, how he's doing, and how that all came down.
Yeah, we found out like a lot of people. I have a team who's, we read every review, we read everything that's posted about us, and someone on Facebook posted a pretty interesting story about a move that happened the day before, and that was Jenny, who you saw in the video, posting about her move and about the whole experience and about Walter walking 20 miles, meeting police officers, getting stopped, having breakfast with them, coming to her house, the whole thing. And so we read it like a lot of people early on Sunday morning, and we're pretty shocked. And we had tried to create a culture where people are gonna, break their back and do everything for the customer, but that really raised the bar. And so once we heard that, we really we knew that someone didn't quit on us when it was very easy for him to quit, and we had to do something for him. And that's when we made the decision to give him a car.
Again, it's a spectacular story. So Luke has a Harvard MBA. My guess is they did not cover a certain situation like that in your program.
I did not read a case on that one.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. Nor anywhere close.
I bet you didn't. Got another question about Walter and this whole story. Why do you suppose, I think everybody would probably have a gut reaction to this, but there may be more to it. Why do you suppose it captured the imagination of so many people across the really, like I said, across the globe?
Well, I think first, if you read the news, it's usually, at least in today's age, there's not a lot of good news out there.
Yeah.
And I think people are really starving for a good news story. And one within the United States, but actually I got a lot of emails from colleagues abroad who are just really looking for something that was like good coming from the United States. And this just seemed to deliver that. But I think not only was it a feel-good story that people were hungry for, but I do think what he did was very relatable. I think a lot of people have a 20-mile walk kind of in their life, and everyone can understand what 20 miles means. It's far, but you could do it if you had to. And I think a lot of people kind of related to that and were able to put themselves in Walter's shoes and be pretty impressed.
So, Luke, everybody wants an employee like Walter. I mean, truly, if you're running a business, everybody wants a Walter or many Walters, that kind of dedication. But they're not always easy to find. And, one of the things we've been talking about with the success sequence and talking about the different barriers to employment for people, their own experiences and all sorts of stuff. It's just not as easy as saying, let's go find a bunch of Walters. So talk a little bit about what you're doing to identify talent, some of the challenges you face, and some of the hopeful signs that you can be successful in recruiting good talent.
Well, I do want to be clear that Walter was in that situation before Bellhops. We were his last. He had been let go from a job because he was not able to show up on time because of transportation. And so we were kind of his last resort. And so I think from Walter's perspective, the determination to keep going at it was pretty impressive, right? And so I think from that perspective, people can, even without skill, be able to really stay committed and find an opportunity. I think on our side, the reason that it worked for us and Walter was we didn't, our application process doesn't vet for, we don't ask you about, pieces of a resume. We don't ask you about certain things in the past. We ask you about, how are you going to do for us? And we've really tailored those questions and the whole process to really focus on what you're going to be able to do for our customers and not really look at the past. And then, we've created a culture of people from the very beginning who kind of build and support each other. And, Walter, we have plenty of people in this situation who I'm not giving my car to, right? But there's a lot of people in this situation who don't have great transportation, but because we have a lot of people who are who come from similar backgrounds and know those struggles and are trying to help each other out, we've created a community where people are, peer-to-peer helping each other out, get the jobs, and relying on each other. And it's been really successful. And so I think it's the culture along with kind of how you vet and bring people in.
Well, that's great. So again, this was just a time to feature a great feel-good story. We're grateful for Luke and his friendship and his great work at Bellhops. We're sorry he's not in Atlanta anymore and he's all the way up in Chattanooga, but that's okay. We'll call him friend. Will you join me in thanking Luke?
Thank you.